In 216 BC, the Roman army sent 86,000 soldiers to end a war. They were confident, organized, unstoppable. By sunset, 70,000 of them were dead. Not from disease, not from a storm, from one man. A man who had been planning this moment since he was 9 years old. His name was Hannibal Barca. And this is the story Rome never wanted you to know. To understand Hannibal, you have to understand where he came from. A city so powerful, so wealthy, so advanced, that Rome saw it as the only real threat to its empire. Located on the northern coast of Africa, in what is today Tunisia, Carthage was not a desert outpost. It was a civilization. Its merchants sailed to Spain, to Britain, to the edges of the known world. Its navy was the most feared on the Mediterranean Sea. Its people built temples that rivaled anything in Rome. But Rome and Carthage could not coexist. Two lions, one territory. The First Punic War lasted 23 years. Rome won barely. Carthage was stripped of its territory, forced to pay crippling war debts, and humiliated on the world stage. And into that humiliation, a boy was born. Hannibal Barca. His father agreed. But first, he brought the boy to the altar of the gods. He made Hannibal swear an oath. I will be the eternal enemy of Rome. 9 years old. And he kept that oath for the rest of his life. Hamilcar trained his son like a weapon. Strategy, languages, endurance, leadership, not because he commanded it, because he earned it. He slept on the ground with his men. He ate the same food. He marched at the front, not the rear. When Hamilcar died in battle, and Hannibal's brother-in-law was assassinated shortly after, the army had one choice for their new commander. They chose Hannibal, unanimously. He was 26 years old. In 218 BC, Hannibal made a decision that military historians still study today. Not from the sea, not from Africa, from the north. He would march his army, 50,000 infantry, 9,000 cavalry, and 37 war elephants, across Spain, through southern Gaul, and over the Alps. In winter, everyone told him it was impossible. The Alps in winter were death. Snow so deep men disappeared into it. Paths so narrow a single wrong step meant falling thousands of feet. Hannibal didn't argue. He just moved. The crossing took 15 days. He lost nearly half his army to the cold, to ambushes from mountain tribes, to sheer exhaustion. Elephants, massive, terrified animals, were led along paths barely wide enough for a man. Some fell. Most survived. When Hannibal finally descended into northern Italy, he gathered what remained of his army, hungry, frostbitten, broken. And he told them, "You have crossed the Alps. You have done what no army in history has done. Rome is just ahead, and Rome is afraid." They roared. What followed was 2 years of Hannibal systematically destroying every Roman army sent against him. At the Trebia River, at Lake Trasimene, Rome lost tens of thousands of soldiers. Rome lost 2 consuls, its highest commanders. The Senate panicked. They called Hannibal the enemy. Not just an enemy. The enemy. As if there were no other. And then came Cannae. August 2nd, 216 BC. Rome assembled its largest force in history, 86,000 men, to crush Hannibal once and for all. Hannibal had 50,000. He was outnumbered almost 2 to 1. And he smiled, because he had already won. He arranged his weakest troops in the center of his battle line, knowing Rome would push hardest there. Then his elite cavalry swept around both flanks. 70,000 men, the flower of Rome, died in a single afternoon. It is still studied today in military academies around the world as the most perfect tactical encirclement in the history of warfare. And yet, Hannibal never took Rome. His generals begged him to march on the city while it was defenseless. He refused. Some say he lacked siege equipment. Some say he was waiting for Carthage to send reinforcements that never came. Some say he believed the Italian city-states would abandon Rome and join him. They didn't. Rome did what Rome always did. It raised new armies, changed its strategy, stopped fighting Hannibal directly, and started cutting off his supplies, picking off his allies, exhausting his men year by year. Hannibal spent 15 years in Italy, undefeated in the field, and slowly watched his campaign collapse. Carthage sent him nothing. No reinforcements. No supplies. No help. Politics back home had turned against him. In 203 BC, Hannibal was recalled to Africa. He had never lost a battle in Italy, but he had lost the war. At the Battle of Zama in 202 BC, Hannibal met the Roman general Scipio Africanus. For the first time in his life, Hannibal was defeated in open battle. Carthage surrendered. Hannibal spent his remaining years as a fugitive, hunted by Rome across the Mediterranean, from kingdom to kingdom, always one step ahead of the assassins sent to find him. In 183 BC, surrounded, betrayed, with no escape, he took poison he had kept hidden in a ring. His last words, according to ancient sources, were, "Let us relieve the Romans of their long anxiety, since they find it too long to wait for an old man's death." Rome destroyed Carthage 37 years later. They burned it to the ground, salted the earth so nothing would grow. They erased it. But they could never erase Hannibal, because 2,200 years later, we still say his name.